Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Light Sports Ramble. I was actually going through my YouTube channel today, and I can't believe this is episode 63. 63 of these rambles I've put on YouTube. Just amazing, considering I never thought I would get to number 2. But it's always my pleasure to come to you. I'm going to talk about two things tonight. One is, all I've heard on the talk shows today is about the national attention about RGIII and should they bench him and put in Kirk Cousins. I mentioned yesterday, the guy's not playing well. Maybe he came back too early from injury. But I think the problem isn't so much RG3 in that Shanahan has done stuff to limit him. Forcing him to be a drop-back pocket passer. That's not RG3. Now, with the injury, it may limit rolling the pocket. It may limit him to get outside and run. But I don't think it's his physical tools in his arm and his decision-making, but I still think the injury is bothering him. When I had Evan on last week, I talked about my knee injury in soccer. Yeah, I came back in 1 year. And this is back in the 90s when they didn't have the technology they have now. People were surprised I was back on the pitch in 1 year. But I'm going to tell you something. I was not the same player. I was not the same player until 2 years after that injury. I thought about it. There was still some pain there. It takes a while to overcome that. All the rehab, yeah, you feel good in everyday normal life. And now put the pads on, and now you're a football player. You've got to cut. You've got to stop and go. You've got 300-pound linemen ready to hit you. Yeah, believe me, there's probably some fear in his head, even though he's had the first hit. I even said this earlier. I'm not sure how he's going to come back and be ready to play in the season opener. I give the guy the award for guts because he's got some guts to do this, but it affects his game. He is not a pocket passer. So with all that said, back to the point. Who in their right mind would bench RG3 over Kirk Cousins? Because honestly, even RG3 and his injury are better than Kirk Cousins right now. Just absurd that people are saying bench RG3. Why? There's other problems on that team. Now, I was reading some Facebook posts when it was put out there, and I don't agree with, well, he's got all these numbers, so he shouldn't be benched. He's getting his numbers in the second half when the defenses are playing light. They're calling back the pressure. They're not blitzing up the middle. So I'm not even going to say he should be the starter because of his numbers. His numbers look great. The problem is his numbers mean nothing. Look at his numbers in the first half of games. That's where it matters. The team is so far behind that they have to throw. And that is not a Washington Redskin team. Shanahan is a coach that likes to pound the ball. And Morris has got to be the most disgusted guy on that team. But the problem I'm seeing on offense isn't so much RG3, it's the middle of the line. The centers and the guards, they cannot pick up the blitz up the middle. The Eagles killed him with it. The Packers killed him with it. Thus, RG3 is not mobile enough right now to get outside the pocket fast enough. Teams are able to catch him. So yes, there are some major struggles going on in Washington. And so the offense can't move the ball. They can't sustain drives, so they're putting the defense back on the field. And yet, Chip Kelly's hurry-up offense and fast pace, it tired the defense out. I can buy that for a little bit. But even against the Packers, the offense could not sustain a long drive. The Packer offense got back on the field and they put up points. Teams are just wearing that defense out because the offense can't sustain a drive. And partially because they can't run the ball. And then when they do pass, they're blitzing up the middle. And RG3 is not breaking it outside like we were used to seeing him do last year. But it's absurd to think we should bench the guy. The guy's he's trying to play through the injury. But I don't think Kirk Cousins is the answer because Kirk Cousins is the guy that needs to be in the pocket and they're going to blitz up the middle and they're going to kill him. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So leave RG3 in there if it's not going to hurt his knee. That's my take on that. But I heard it all day about the Redskins and benching RG3, and I think it's ridiculous. The other thing I think that's ridiculous today is these darn power rankings, and I don't even know why I look at them. I said last night I'm going to pull my hair out if the Texans move up, and guess what? They moved up, and I don't have enough hair to pull out. Now, they did some good things in this poll, and I'll kind of give you the camera view of what I do. I print it out. And I check the ones in yellow highlighter that I think are cool picks. And then I circle the ones in pink that I think are wrong. So I'll give you a quick view of that. And then I'll get back to talking. So I kind of do this. And so I printed it off. And they moved the Texans to number 4. They moved them up 2 spots. And so that means that they moved the Falcons down with a win. And they moved the Patriots down with a win. Now, honestly, I think the Falcons look a lot better than the Texans. The Falcons could have won week 1. The Saints had a great defensive play in the end zone. The Texans are barely getting by 2 what I will call mediocre teams. Now, I mentioned yesterday they're surprising me playing passionate football, the Chargers and the Titans. But if the Texans are supposed to be a Super Bowl team, they shouldn't be letting these teams hang around. I do not think they're the 4th best team in the power ranking. No way, no how. Now, I'm going to agree. The Seahawks deserve to be number 1. They shellacked the 49ers. So I give them the edge over the Broncos. And I'm okay keeping the 49ers at 3. They're a good team. They just ran into the buzzsaw in Seattle, and Seattle's tough at home. So I'm okay with that. They moved the Packers up to 5. I'm okay in there. I mean, the Packers played a good game against an inferior team, but they did what they needed to do. They took care of business. Like I said, the Falcons and Patriots both dropped. And I'm okay with the Patriots dropping because I'm not impressed with what's going on there. Tom Brady is not developing those young receivers like we're used to seeing. And Amendola is supposed to be out maybe 2 more weeks. It's going to be some tough games. I don't think there's any walk-in-the-park games for the Patriots now with that receiving core that's so young. And I think Brady was wrong getting in the grill of his receivers like that. I mean, I know you have to. I was a player. I was a coach. But the psyche of these players, that's something I think that needs to happen in practice. During the game, you need to keep them focused on what their job is. You yelling at them, Tom Brady, it's going to make them more nervous next time the ball comes. Like, man, I got to catch this so Brady doesn't yell at me. So I wasn't impressed with how you handled that. I see you cracking a little bit. And for an elite quarterback, that's not cool. Not cool at all. Now, I think the Saints should have moved up ahead of the Falcons and the Patriots. The Saints beat the Falcons. I think they're playing better than the Patriots. That 8 spot, I think the Patriots should be falling into the Saints should be falling into number 6. Bears, Bengals, Ravens all stayed relatively the same. That's cool. They got the Dolphins at number 12. And you know what? I think they're playing better than the Patriots right now. It was nice to see them make a 5-spot jump and give them some recognition. But I really think the Chiefs deserve to be ahead of the Dolphins. I think the Chiefs are playing much better football than the Dolphins. I might even move the Chiefs ahead of the Ravens into spot 11. Chiefs just for some reason do not seem to get any respect in the power rankings. I mean, no turnovers in 2 games. Playing very good. And I'm going to do my upset show. I'm going to have to do my picks Thursday because I'll let it out of the box now. I'll let it out now. Tuesday night, the Chiefs are going to Philadelphia and they're going to beat Philadelphia at home. But that's not even going to be an upset pick because the Chiefs are ranked higher in the power rankings. But I think the Chiefs go to Philly and I think they win. The biggest jump, and I'm glad that this team got some respect. The San Diego Chargers. 10 spots from 26 to 16. They're a field goal away from being 2-0. I think they're playing inspired football, but I still think there's some holes, especially defensively, that they got to tighten up. And I think they got to get a lot better on offense, a little more efficient. But I think Phillip Rivers is playing some rejuvenated football with a new coach. And that is a good thing to see in San Diego. I bet you the fans are happy. The Giants fell to 20. And to be honest, I think the Titans deserve to be ahead of the Giants. Now, the Titans moved up. Or didn't move up, I'm sorry. They stayed at 22. Why are they not ahead of the Giants? They're playing better football than the New York Giants. See, I just don't agree with these things. And then you got the Redskins at 24 and the Steelers at 25. On my sheet, I circled both of them. How are they ahead of the Buffalo Bills? How are they ahead of the Buffalo Bills? The Bills are playing better football than both those teams right now. And isn't this a power ranking for the best teams? 1 all the way down to 32? Well, the Bills are playing better football than both the Redskins and the Steelers. So, again, I don't even know why I worked myself up. I guess it's good topic for the Red Light Sports Ramble to have you guys hear me all riled up. But, to recap today's show, RG3 should not be benched. I think he's your best option at quarterback. You got other problems besides RG3 and his injury, so let's get off of RG3 and the injury. He's limited in what he can do. That offensive line up the middle needs to be fixed. The defense needs to be fixed. The offense has to sustain drives to keep the defense off the field. And then with the power rankings, my biggest disappointment here, the Texans at 4. They should not be number 4. And I think the Bills should be ahead of both the Redskins and the Steelers. Because both of those teams, 24 and 25 is a compliment right now because they're both playing like crap. So with that said, folks, that's the Red Light Sports Ramble tonight. I'll see you tomorrow at the next Red Light. Enjoy your evening. Talk to you soon.